Hello, we are live. Today's topic, we're going to talk about how to stop doing, why you should stop doing anything. All right. This is really a hard concept for a lot of people to grasp. But on this journey, it's very important. And before we label it as twin flame, because it is not, this is what the journey has always been, even before you discovered you were on a twin flame journey. Okay. So a lot of these concepts, they are not twin flame related. They are a part of our ascension, our spiritual journey. Okay. And you're going to discover why it is that you actually get more of what you want when you stop trying to do. And what exactly does that phrase mean? Okay. So if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐩𝐚𝐫, and I've been assisting twin flames on their journey for over 8 years, or about 8 years, I should say. We're approaching that time. Next month is going to make it official. Okay. And so I actually just hopped on Instagram. You're watching me from YouTube, more likely, but you can also be watching me on Instagram. It took a little while to load over there, but I see someone is there right now. Hello, hello. And please say hi if you are watching me live. Please comment. You can also do so if you're watching the replay. All right. So we're going to dive into this, okay? Because this journey can feel painful, right? This journey called life sometimes has its ups and downs. A lot of times it feels like it's sending us on a roller coaster ride. And if you're feeling this way, it's usually because, and I'm open to any comment, I always am. If anyone has something different to say, speak up, okay? I'm here for it. And so the struggle usually comes from when your mind can't perceive what your intuition is trying to tell you. And so again, we make it twin flame related, but you've had this before. You've had where you felt intense pain, a lot of suffering, depression, and things like that. I'm not going to take anything away from any therapist or clinical therapist, psychologist, any of those. I'm not taking away from that. I'm sharing what I'm aware of and what you may be aware of if this resonates with you. So a lot of times when we're experiencing pain, suffering, we feel this way even on this journey is because our soul is trying to talk to us, but our mind keeps taking over. Our mind keeps saying, those different beliefs. I can't, I'm not good enough. Nothing's working out well. Meanwhile, there is this voice, and there has been this voice within you, within me, within you, that says, hey, let's go. Let's do it this way. This is what's happening. This is what's showing up with the person. This is what's showing up with whatever, okay? Whatever it may be. And so we sit in our minds, because that's what we're taught to do. We sit in our minds. We are taught to move forward in life, to figure everything out according to what is going on in here. Okay? According to what is going on in here. And you might be like, okay, well, it has worked. Okay, well, okay. All right, we can say that. There are some things that have worked, but if you're trying and it's not working, it's time to stop trying. We're going to talk about what that means. It is time to stop trying. So I'm going to share a story with you. This was when I was married with my ex, my kid's father. 10 years of marriage, right? I remember I kept trying to make that connection work. I kept trying everything. I tried talking to him, tried whatever. I've seen some people say, maybe if I do this, they're going to reach out. They're going to miss me. Maybe if I, all this comes from up here. And I remember one time when I was just drained, I was like, I can't anymore. And I was talking to my sister. This is my twin sister. I've had some really wonderful, amazing messages from her. This was before I met my twin flame, before I discovered this journey, before I started helping others and so on. I received so many divine messages that I didn't even know how divine they are until I started this work, okay? Because it was leading me towards my life purpose, where I was going. And so I remember telling her, I've tried everything. What do I do? And she said, do nothing. And I was like, do nothing? Like, what do you mean? She was like, do nothing. I was like, okay, so what exactly is do nothing? Like I couldn't grasp that because my mind was always on doing. Okay. That spoke like a foreign language to me. That was before I discovered the soul. That's before I discovered that there is actually something guiding us, our inner self, our soul. You might say higher self, or perhaps you may look at it like it's God. Everything is God. The universe is actually guiding you, but you can't connect with that when you're trying to do. Okay, from the mind, when you're trying to figure it out from up here, and you wonder why it's not showing up. Whatever it is, your twin flame, money, none of this is showing up because you're trying so hard from this place. Okay, I will tell you right now, the mind won't create what the soul can. Write that down. Your mind can't create what your soul can. It will never do so. And I share these things. There's a reason I'm still on this channel, and I'm going to keep being on this channel, is because you're on a journey that you did not ask for. I know that. I know that. You didn't wake up one day and say, all right, I'm going to choose someone who doesn't seem to be choosing me. But yet there's signs, synchronous messages, there's stuff all over the place that says it's this person. And I'm saying, well, why? They're running away from me, right? Or whichever angle you're coming from, right? You didn't wake up saying that. I know you didn't. Maybe you did. Some of you out there, a few of you, most of you did not. And so there's that. And there's so many of us on this journey who have a calling to do something, to be of service, to help others with no direction. Pretty much that was me. Universe was like, 𝐏𝐲, you have everything. When I got started, they're like, you have everything. And you feel like you're ripped out of your job. You can't take the job anymore. You've stepped out of the matrix. It no longer resonates with you, and you're working with other people who are still in that matrix, and it's not adding up. You're like, I wish they can see themselves. Did anyone experience that? I really want to know if you experience entering this journey that you did not ask for, whether it's just with your twin flame or perhaps your twin flame and your mission, and here you are, you're on this journey. Okay, you're on this journey. So there's a reason I brought that up. You've been on this journey. Matter of fact, you've been on this journey much longer than you had thought you are. Okay, and so being on this journey, we're like, all right, my soul is telling me this is a person, go get them, or whatever the case. Align with what? Right? And my inner self is saying, you got to help people. And even though you're like, I don't want to do that, it keeps showing up. Maybe strangers approach you, and this feeling just won't go away, and it gets louder and louder. And so you're like, all right, if all this is being presented to me, then it means I must do something, right? Right. All right. So I see one comment. Mila says, yes, and it's kind of hard to be around people who are not as awakened. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. So I'm going to pause a little bit to share because on this journey called life, and it's not just a twin flame thing, we mirror one another. Okay. When you understand the mirror, it's going to change so much, so much. We mirror one another. And the workplace, for me, this is my perspective, is a stool. I call it a melting pot. Stew, where you have the vegetables, the meat, you have a whole bunch of different things in there of karmic people in situation. It is a pot of karmic people in situation. If you love your job, love your job. This doesn't apply to you. If you're like, I love everybody, everybody is great. No, actually, it still applies to you. I was hearing. Okay. And so these people are in your life, were in your life for the purpose of showing you aspects of yourself. And so what happens to many of us, we think it's just a job. I just landed this job. No, you have this job because it's an alignment of something and it's showing something to you. This did not just happen in a relationship. This is a part of your spiritual journey. And so everyone is mirroring each other. Everybody. This is what the journey is, okay? We're all mirrors to one another. Now, when you step out of the matrix and it no longer resonates with you, you can see that. That's what happened to me. I had a coworker complain to me about what another coworker was doing, which was the same thing she was doing. And I was like, you do that. Okay. And in that moment, it's like, you can't say anything because she's like, she's so mad. She was like, I can't believe she's doing that. And I was like, but you do that. And they can't see themselves and they can't see that how they even contribute to it because she was doing the same thing, trying to get people in trouble and all this kind of stuff. And someone else was trying to get her in trouble. Now it's a problem. And it's like, okay, it's a problem when someone's doing it to you, but what about yourself? So I had to share that real quickly. A lot of, not as awakened. I love how you worded that, Mila. That's wonderful. Not as awakened, because if you have intuition, you're awakened to a degree. Okay, so this is what happens in the matrix. And when you are on this journey, this spiritual journey, being around that, seeing hearing the things people are saying, watching what they're doing, you're like, oh my goodness, I wish you can see yourself. And then you begin to feel out of place. There's a reason for it. I'm going to share this with you because many of you are destined for something really big. Okay. That's what this journey is leading you towards. You know, a lot of us, we stay within this, you know, it's twin flame. I want my twin flame. It's got to be my twin flame. Your twin flame is a part of that journey. It definitely is. This person shows you aspects of yourself. Okay, we're going to get into that a little bit because I still have this gift for you guys and the price is going up soon. Okay. And so your twin flame shows you these aspects of yourself. All right. You know, sometimes my thoughts cut me off. Give me a moment. Perhaps I'll come back to it. Okay. Yeah. So you're destined for something big. So when you're in the matrix and you're like, I can't, is because your soul is nudging you and is saying, hello, this isn't your story anymore. Okay. This is not your story anymore. This is your moment to rise. This is your moment of truth. This is your moment to step out of this and become something greater, not even become. I want to say it's who you have been before the trauma, the limiting beliefs, other people's beliefs, other people's things for you, right? Your soul is saying, all right, let's go. And this is why some things start to feel like, this isn't working. This isn't working. And I want to say one of the hardest things about that, if you can relate, please comment, is that those in the matrix are not quite there yet. And so they can't see what you see, but you know deep down and this burning passion inside of you, if this is you, if it's not you yet, the universe has a way. Your soul has a way to be like, hey, knock, knock. I came for you. All right, it's time to go. and so you are meant for that. And that's the reason why it feels like a lot of things start to break down, because it's the breaking down of the familiar, the matrix, what you've been around and all this kind of stuff. So you're connecting with who you are. Okay, that's what that is. And so, you know, this touches a very soft spot for me, I have to admit, because we will look at comedians, actors, musicians, and all of these people who are living their purpose, who are putting themselves out there. I apologize if I get sidetracked. This is something burning that I'm talking about today. who have stepped out into their purpose and doing all this stuff. But then when we have a purpose, a burning desire, if this is you, what do you get surrounded by? Folks who are like, no, you need to stay in that matrix, okay? You need to keep your behind here and all this kind of stuff. Who are you fooling kind of thing, right? But then they're idolizing the celebrities, the athletes, those who stepped out and said, you know what? I've got this feeling I'm going to make it. I've got to keep going. I've got to fight for this and all this kind of stuff. I'm totally here for it. I'm here for you guys with that fight. This is the journey, okay? No, you're destined for something bigger. Even in a relationship with your twin flame or the soulmate partner, the divine soulmate who feels a lot like twin flame. And I'm not talking about karmic. This speaks to whoever it speaks to, okay? Comes in to walk that journey together with you is a part of a bigger purpose. Matter of fact, what I'm hearing is everyone in around you is a part of your bigger purpose, even if they are karmic, because they're showing karmic, so to say, they're teaching you karmic lessons. So they're showing you aspects of yourself that isn't in alignment of where you're going, or they're teaching you. Even the person who says, I don't really believe in you, is teaching you something. Perhaps you need to believe more in yourself. Who knows what they're teaching, but they're all a part of your journey. Okay. And so going back to the topic today, part of your journey, your spiritual journey, your awakening, whatever you want to call it, you becoming your truest self, who you're meant to be, the person you've been keeping caged up inside of yourself, in connection with, in business and all this kind of stuff, it's leading you towards becoming everything of that. And so the mind says, okay, let me jump on board. Let me do this. Okay. No, not the mind. Stop thinking up here and begin to feel instead. Begin to feel. Okay. Your soul is doing the work. You really just don't know how much your soul is doing all of this stuff until you actually release the mind, what your mind's trying to create because it thinks it can, in connection, in your business, with money, all of this kind of stuff. Release it and begin to listen within. And I'm going to tell you, it is not as easy as it sounds at first. Okay. On my channel, I do not sugarcoat anything. If you want sugarcoat and all that stuff, that's just go to another channel. This is not here. We're not sugarcoating anything. Because for so long, you've had to operate from your mind. You viewed the world from beliefs of others, society, parents, those who are around you, schools, church. That's how you are viewing the world, okay? And that's not your fault. And so when this journey finds you, when you awaken, because your soul is like, it is time. The transition from your mind to your soul, for some, it can be quick. For others, it can take some time. Okay. The mind creates fear. And so that fear that you experience, you're like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can see this. Right. And for some of us on this journey, it's deep. It's really deep. Okay, this is hitting my soul. So I will tell you, when you're like, I want this connection with my twin, but you're still deep in a whole lot of pain when it comes to connection. Like, I don't know how to open up. I don't know how to let someone in and see who I really am. If I speak up, they're going to run. It's challenging to have that connection you want. Yes, it is. And this is the work I do with clients because, ignoring those parts, spiritual bypassing, let me just ignore the fact that I'm still afraid and I'm just going to just simply be in balance and that's it. And that kind of stuff, the person comes in and they're going to trigger stuff within yourself. And you hear it from me because I want you guys to succeed, right? It's not for hurting you. The triggers that you experience in connection on this journey in your business and all this kind of stuff is not to hurt you. Triggers are you releasing whatever it is, because that's what your body is doing, is saying, hey, you know what, whatever that pain is like, I'm in here, knock, knock. Okay, I'm here. And that's for you to release. All right. And so when you look at it this way, and this is why I have the link down below my journal, hold on a moment. Let me get that title for you guys, okay? This is the reason why I have it below, and I've made it the link for it. I have it below, and I've made it available to you right now with no charge. This is free because my goal is to get this into as many hands as possible so that you're looking within yourself at what is being reflected. Okay, you're looking within yourself at what is being reflected. It is my divine masculine, the alchemy of divine masculine. I've been dealing with a lot of titles. All right, so the link for it is down below. I'm just going to continue and so on. All right, it's not a self-blame thing. When you look within yourself, it's not a self-blame thing. When you're pointing the fingers, I'm going to give an example because I've seen people and I'm just like, you know what, you can heal this, where people are like, okay, why did they choose a karmic person? Why are they choosing someone else? Choosing someone else. It's watching the words that you say. It's not about the person. It's the words that you say, because this is a trigger that's coming up. And all right, you're feeling like you're not being chosen. They didn't choose me. Okay. In what aspect, and again, it's not a self-blame, are you not choosing yourself? We're not pinning it on the person. This is where the healing takes place, when you realize that even through connection, the words that you are saying are showing you something within yourself. And it always has been. It's not a twin flame thing. Okay. And you begin to choose yourself, whatever that may look like. All right. And so in the course below, I provide different ways that you can really transcend that belief within yourself that has kept you from choosing yourself. And sometimes we look at it in just this lifetime. We call it the inner child healing or something like that. Can be in past lifetime. It can, and again, this is just an example. There can be other situations, but it's what you notice you are telling yourself. This is the reason I always say you're not doing anything wrong. Some people are like, I can't seem to get this. Like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, you're not doing anything wrong. Just pay attention to the words that you say. They don't hear me. They're not here for me. They're choosing. So they're doing, or whatever, whoever is they. Okay. It can be that coworker. All right. And just notice it. This is masculine energy. Anything around doing is masculine energy. This feminine, perhaps I'll come up with something feminine down the line. I do have some stuff for women, actually. And when I say feminine, even the feminine aspect of men, sure. But right now, this is the masculine. When you're talking about doing and feeling safe and all this kind of stuff is within yourself. So the link for that course is below, and it explains it. There isn't a journal that you receive there, but you're going to pull out pen and paper, and it'll give you instructions on how you can clear this thing within that's being shown to you. Now, if you're in a workplace and you begin to heal whatever is being shown there, you might be elevated to a whole other job. Or this is the thing, right? You're like, is she, when we say enough is enough, and I'm tired of dealing with whatever the situation is, if that situation or the person is karmic for you, and that no longer resonates with you, you elevate to something better. And it's just like that. And with your soul partner, you start to see the transformation in them And it's not like they're going to wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm just going to change for you. I decided, like, I woke up and I decided I'm going to be a different person for you, just like that. No, not like that. Not like that. No. I mean, it could be, but it's more like that they go through experiences that make them realize, my mind's not working out. I keep coming to this mind and thinking something like this. They might not say the words, but they start to see, you know what? I'm just not winning at whatever thing I'm creating outside of what my soul is telling me, depending on how awake they are, right? Or my gut feeling has been telling me, I've been ignoring it, and I keep going to all this other stuff, and it's not working out. And this life, this dream life, right? I've been told this dream life, they've been told this dream life is with you. You don't believe this? Like, this is another video, all right? So I will have to write this down. This is another video that I will create on what goes on in the mind of the divine masculine. And it's coming. All right? What goes on in the mind? Because many times in this connection, I tell you guys, all right, you're not in a connection by yourself. It's a connection experienced by two people. And I know many of you might be like, nope, I don't think they feel that way. Nope, I don't think so. And all this kind of stuff. Well, the I don't think they feel that way becomes mirrored to you with I don't think you feel that way. Because we go according to what we're seeing with our eyes and not what we're feeling. It's a connection. You didn't create those feelings inside of you. You didn't create the signs and synchronicities, the numbers, hearing their thoughts, them waking up, their energy waking you up and all. You didn't create that. That's in your connection with the other person. Okay? All right. So that's a whole nother thing there. All right. So I have an event coming up. And this is for the business owners. And if you're an aspiring business owners, or perhaps you just want to create wealth and you want to attend the masterclass, feel free to do so. All right, so let me share my screen here. Nope, not this way. Hold on a minute. And this way. And so the event is so it is Hidden Codes to Manifesting Seven Figures. This is the website for it. And you can read all of this here. However, it's 4 days, and this is what we're going to uncover, okay? This is all part of the do nothing, and you build wealth. If this is for you, understand your pain, why it happens, and you're dissolving the blocks that are created by the pain. Because just like, why do I talk about manifesting, guys? Why do I talk about manifesting wealth? A lot of this works very similar with your twin flame connection. It is not separate from you, and it's all part of the journey. When you discover how you can do this, it really shifts and changes a lot of things in your life, where things begin to align for you. The things that you feel in your soul level begins to do that. All right. So day 2 is the art of doing nothing so money comes to you. What does that mean? I'm going to pause a little bit and explain to you why this masterclass is happening. What is behind this masterclass? Okay. I talk to a lot of you on this journey. I talk to twin flames all the time. And one of the trouble that I've noticed a lot of people are having, there's the feeling of being alone and all this kind of stuff. I truly get that. And you can heal that as well and attract your partner to you. But another thing I hear a lot is, I don't have money. My money is disappearing. I am broke all the time. I know I'm meant to be of service, but I'm concerned about money. How is it going to come? Why is it going to show up? No, how is it going to show up? And things like those. And so I became certified as a manifesting coach, along with relationship coach, business coach, and so on. And so during the years of me doing this work, I was like, you know what? I want to figure out manifesting in a way that it can be explained to someone like what I went through who could not see it. Okay, who couldn't see it. Like the information out there about manifesting was just not enough, especially around wealth, around money, and that kind of stuff, to a person who's in intense pain, who's in survival mode, who's trying all the different things, but keeps reverting back to, it's so painful, it's not working, everything's falling apart, I can't keep a steady home or something. It can be anything like this. And so I was like, you know what? I need to understand manifesting. This was me. I want to understand it so I can explain it, because I've been called practical, which I love, because a lot of people are like, I can hear you, 𝐿, because you explain it in a practical way. And so I had to figure it out to put it in a way that anyone who has a practical mind, like myself, very spiritual, but practical at the same time, can understand it. Okay. Because the information out there is just not enough for the mind who doesn't understand what these terminologies mean. Okay. And manifesting is real. I've had random clients pop up and say, I want to work with you. That's one way manifesting takes place. I've had $1,500 check that showed up in my mailbox. Literally, like the day before that, I was watching Pastor Marcus Grill, and he said, you're going to have money in your mailbox tomorrow. And I was like, woohoo. I was just cheering on, wasn't even thinking about it. And literally the money popped up in my mailbox. I felt the energy of money coming in. I've been guided. I've been told things about money and stuff like those. And so manifesting is real. I've even had, and this was one time when I was losing my apartment and I had to go to court, and I had a certain amount remaining. And the client called me and was like, hey, 𝐿, just send me the bill for that exact amount. That exact amount. And literally, like that message came while I was on my way to court. This is what happened to me, okay? While I was figuring out business. I went through some things trying to figure out business so I can teach it to you in a way that's real. Not like, here, try these methods because I believe it's going to work, or I'm trying to take your money. No, you're on a journey. If this is you, if you're the business owner, if you're not, you can follow along. You're an aspiring entrepreneur. You're on this journey that you did not ask for. And it is unfair to work with someone who isn't there for you, who gives you information that doesn't align with you, who's just sharing with you something that hasn't actually worked for them. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. You deserve more than that. Okay. And so with manifesting, and this is going to be like my 4th or 5th manifesting masterclass. If you've attended another one before that, this one is different. Okay. It will really set you on the path of understanding manifesting. All right. So let's get back to this. So day 2, the art of doing nothing so money comes to you. This is what a lot of this live has been. Do nothing. Do nothing. And what is that? Okay. So your soul's leading you the way. So day 3, why embodying who you truly are attracts money faster. Okay. And why you're never failing, even if you can't hold it all day long. I'm going to share that with you. You are never failing, even if you can't hold it all day long. There are a lot of people who will say you have to stay in a positive mindset all day. All right. That's not true. And I will explain to you how that works. And you might be like, okay, all right, how do I make money if I can't be positive? So I'll share this with you so you have an idea. That is a version of you. That is a version of you. And that version doesn't have to go away. You just got to be in the version who's ready to go. Okay. So you're not shutting down any part of yourself. You're not telling yourself, I shouldn't think this way or anything. If you're telling yourself, I shouldn't think this way, that is the version of yourself that you're choosing in that moment, who wants to believe I can't think that way and can't seem to stop thinking that way. That person doesn't have to go. All right. And so you can still build wealth even when you're feeling that way. All right. And Day 4, enough of the vague concept that money chases you. Discover how it actually does that. It really does. Money comes, like the moment you put it out there, it comes after you. So the value for this is $1,500. Today is just for $37, and that price is going to be available for the next 2 days. Okay, and so you might be like, "Why are you charging?" My other events, did I charge? I believe I charged for the last one. I've had some free events around manifesting. This one, I have to charge, guys, because you're getting actual results. This isn't like I'm teaching you and you're just taking notes. You know, you're doing some work. You're doing some work, because manifesting, you want to manifest, you got to put in action for it. Okay, write things down. I like literally in that kind of stuff for it to show up. This is an event that's going to do something for you, make some changes. You're not coming here just to take information and leave. Okay, no, you're going to get actual results and really understand what that is. Okay, what it really is with manifesting. And yes, it ties in with your twin flame connection too. All right, it ties into it. And you might be like, all right, well, I was told not to manifest. When we look at manifesting, we think of it as something that's not happening, but it actually is something that's constantly going on around. And many of you know that already, you know, where we've been through a lot. The collective has been through a lot. And so we have thoughts and beliefs that are playing in the back of our mind and is showing up in our reality. And so the journal is there for you to heal that. But your soul is telling you, your soul is saying, hey, you're meant for this amazing connection. You're meant to have things your way. You really are. You know, all those years where you're like, nothing's working. I'm not powerful. Yeah, no, that ends now. That ends now. You're powerful. All right. And the moment, oh, hey, Desiree, you hopped on. I gotta explain a little bit about Desiree. You've been on my mind because I was just talking about my manifesting masterclass that's coming up, and the last one I had, Desiree had attended. Thank you, Desiree. And I hope I'm not putting you too much on the spot out there. I just had to share it because the class wasn't just informational. We really learned a lot. And one of the things that Desiree has shared with us was investing money. See, a lot of times we think about, I'm going to go back to the twin flame a little bit. All right. So a lot of times we believe money is just going to come from one place. Or this is tying into what I was talking about with love, how powerful you are. You're setting the intention and you're expecting love to show up in this particular way. We always have a tunnel vision where things have to happen one way only, when there are so many ways for things to happen. There's so many ways for money to come in. And in connection, there's so many ways that the belief you're creating shows up for you. So you might be like, all right, well, I want my partner to show up like this. And then you sit on that belief, which you can't do. You got to surrender it to the universe, okay? You really have to know that the universe is doing something here. So you sit on that and it creates resistance. And it's just not showing up. And you're like, well, why is it not showing up? It's not going to show up how you want. It's just not. You know, I would love to say that the universe tracks your exact thoughts. And it's going to say, all right, let me create it exactly what you're thinking. So that way you can feel safe. So your ego feels safe. Your ego feels in control. You know, I would love to say that, but no, that's not the case. That is not the case. The universe is full of surprises. So your intentions are set out, what you desire, and you're believing it deep down inside of yourself, and you find a solution. Okay. And that's with connection. With money comes from all kinds of places. And people who are building wealth aren't just doing it through service and that's about it. And they're showing up and doing all the work by themselves. It's not like that. They're delegating, but they're also investing. And they're also doing other things too to make money work for them when they don't want to work. When some of them are on the golf course. I'm not a golfer. I prefer to go swimming. It's getting cold, so I don't think I'll be doing much of that unless it's in a gym or something like that, like a local YMCA or something. I prefer to be doing that. So that money continues to work for you. When you are in that mindset of I'm losing, nothing is working, it makes it really hard for you to see what is working. In my channel, I'm never a believer that negative thinking means the thing is not showing up. You're not getting that here. There's no shaming, there's no criticizing, there's no putting you down on this channel, okay? You have your negative thoughts, you are releasing. Let's change the way we look at things. Like when we're in these negative thoughts, we're like, I just messed up everything, it's all over. No, you didn't. You're releasing. Even when you're thinking you just messed everything up, okay? Release, release, release. And so when you shift to that focus, like, oh, I'm not feeling so well, I guess these are beliefs leaving me. Or if you struggle for that, well, there's another version of you who believes in something different. Okay? You're never losing. You're never losing. Since the start, when you feel it in yourself, when you were with that karmic person and you said, you know what? I want a better life. That was your soul that says you have a better life. Yeah, you do. And so we weren't taught to listen to that voice. We were taught you should stick through it. You need to work harder. You need to do. And so we keep doing and doing and doing. And then life just felt like it kept falling apart. And then we dig ourselves, or I should say, we dig up even bigger amount of trauma and pain because we fall into a bigger amount of trauma and pain from not listening to ourselves. It's because that amount was there inside of you, okay? Coming up to be released. So you are never failing. All right. So again, the link for my event, we're starting on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The price is $37 for the next 2 days is down below. Also, there is my journal, The Alchemy of the Divine Masculine Energy within yourself. You're not healing your divine masculine, okay? You're healing what the words that you find yourself saying when a person is not doing, not whatever, and you feel like they're not choosing you, all of this kind of stuff, and you're looking for why you're saying that from within yourself, healing that, and then shifts your reality on the outside. So again, that is available. I'm not charging you for this to get many people on board. There is going to be a price soon, so you want to jump on that. All right. Thank you, everyone, for hopping on board. This was really wonderful, and I'm so excited for those who attended live. And if you're watching the replay, I'm still excited for you too. All right. And I'll look for the comments. Take care. See you next week.